Welcome to Soul Spark. These episodes are brain snacks, brief bite-sized reflections from my personal journey, designed to be digested in just a few minutes. I'm not here to tell you how to live or what to do. I'm just here to share my stories and the questions I've wrestled with along the way. My hope is that by sharing what's moved me, I might just spark something in your soul today. Let's dive in. Episode 3, The Long Game. We live in a world that's completely obsessed with the now. We want instant results, instant downloads, overnight success stories, and perhaps most dangerously, instant healing. We want to find the perfect hack, the shortcut, or the next 3-step program that will fix our hearts, our habits, or our heavy history by next Friday. We treat our personal growth like a frantic 100-meter dash. We run with our lungs bursting and our eyes locked on the finish line that always seems to move 10 feet further away every time we get close. On May the 2nd, 2023, I had a realization. I was sitting quietly with my thoughts, but I wasn't at peace. I was feeling that familiar itchy pressure to be further along in my life. I was frustrated. I was asking myself, why am I still dealing with this? Why aren't I over it yet? Why aren't I totally healed? And as I sat there beating myself up for not moving fast enough, an image flashed into my mind. I saw a marathon. I realized that everything I had been through and everything I was currently working on wasn't a sprint. It was a long, winding 42-kilometer journey through the landscape of my soul. Think about a marathon for a second. If you line up at the start of a marathon and try to sprint the first mile at top speed, what happens? You're going to collapse before you even hit the 5-kilometer mark. Your muscles will cramp, your heart will scream, and you'll end up lying on the pavement completely burned out, watching everyone else pass you by. And as you lie there, you'll probably look up at the sky and wonder, why aren't I strong enough? But the truth is, you're absolutely strong enough. You just had the wrong pace. That day, I opened my journal and I wrote down a sentence that felt like a massive physical weight dropping off my shoulders. Personal growth is a marathon, not a sprint. It sounds so simple, right? Almost like an old cliche. But when you really let that truth sink deep into your bones, when you feel your jaw unclench and your shoulders drop, it changes everything. It gives you permission to slow down. It gives you permission to walk through the water stations, to catch your breath, to actually look at the scenery around you. It gives you permission to trust that as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other, no matter how slowly, you're progressing and by default winning. I realized that the void I often felt, that empty space where I felt like nothing was happening in my life, wasn't a sign of failure. It was just a quiet stretch of the race. It's that lonely stretch of the marathon where the crowds aren't cheering, the cameras are gone, and the finish line isn't visible yet. It's the part where it's just you, the rhythm of your breath, and the steady beat of your heart. In our healing journeys, we often mistake rest for stalling. We think if we aren't experiencing a massive, dramatic breakthrough every single day, we've lost our way. But your compass doesn't just work when you're running. It works perfectly fine when you're standing still too. When I started looking at my journey as a marathon, the heavy pressure evaporated. I stopped looking at my watch and I started looking at my stride. I began to appreciate the endurance I was building. We are so incredibly hard on ourselves for not being there yet. But where is there, anyway? If life is continuously unfolding, then the finish line is just an illusion. The real magic is entirely in endurance. The real beauty is the fact that you haven't given up yet, even on the days when your legs feel like lead. So, I want to ask you, what if you stopped measuring your progress by how fast you're moving and started measuring it by how much you can trust your pace? What if the slow parts of your journey aren't delays at all, but necessary moments for your heart to catch up with your head? What if the only way to actually lose this race is to try and finish it too soon? Is something sparking in your soul today? Thank you for sharing this space with me today. As you step back into your world, Remember, you don't need to have all the answers right now. Sometimes just noticing the question is enough. May this brain snack offer a moment of stillness in the noise. And remember, embrace the spark.